Hello and welcome. This is Michelle with PaperStampInk. Thanks so much for stopping by today. I'm going to share with you a card made using the Beautiful World Cling Stamp Set. I love this stamp set. It's great for masculine cards, but really works for anybody in several occasions. Just a thinking of you, heading out on a new adventure, graduation, retirement. I think there's so many things that this would be very wonderful for. So if you enjoy getting tutorials and ideas and inspiration for paper crafting projects, I'd love to have you as part of my crafting family. Hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell. That way you'll get notifications of future videos. So let's go ahead and jump in. I've just grabbed some supplies and we're going to do a card on the fly, which is basically where I'm just making it up as we go along. So I am making this card for a friend that we are part of a swap, and I made a tag earlier. And so the swap is actually for a tag, and I'll link the video for this below and I'll also put it up above. But I thought, well, if I'm going to send this fun tag to her as part of the swap, I would love to include a card as well that coordinates. So let's go ahead. What I do is I just, for the tag, I grabbed out some supplies that I like, these papers that coordinated with the suite, some cardstock and an inner layer, and we're just gonna kind of wing it and see what kind of fun designs we can come up with. I'm using the distressed inks and distressed techniques, so I love that it makes it just really kind of easy on this, because it doesn't have to be perfect. And one of the fun things with distressing is you can have a lot of ripping and layering, and it just kind of adds to the overall look. I'm doing some Stampin' Off there because I don't want this to be too too solid. You know, I want that kind of weathered look. And so the other thing is you want to use your vanilla cardstock or off-white cardstock when you're doing distress, or at least I do, versus starting with white. And you know, I'm thinking about, should I have distressed the edges of that, but I don't think so, because it's going on the inside. I think I'm gonna just leave it as is so that there's plenty of room to write my sentiment on there. All right, let's go ahead and let's just start playing with some paper. So I think I'm gonna put a full layer of this on the background. So I'm gonna cut that down to 4 by 5 1/4, and that's the same as that inside base layer is 4 and 5 1/4. It's standard for any 2 card size. And then I am going to come in and do some distressing on the edges with this. Just bringing that around and over on into the top as well. Get a little messy. It's okay. It's just ink and it's just paper. So we're going to come in and ink this up. And I'm even going to kind of get some splotches on the middle there. And let's go ahead and do some layering and add some more of this on that background. So that's the thing with distressing, that I just add more and more layers. Now, you know, maybe not to the point of when your kids first discovered stickers. Anybody else have that experience? Where every single sticker had to go on that sheet of paper, that card, whatever it was. You're like, oh, I think that's good. And they're like, nope, more. You're like, oh, really? I think it looks wonderful. So maybe you don't want to go that crazy with everything, or maybe you do. I mean, that's up to you. It's your card, and you do it the way you like it. That's the great thing about paper crafting, is everybody kind of likes different things, and it's always fun to, I have some styles that I kind of gravitate towards when I'm creating, and it's always fun to see what other people do that's different than what I generally come up with. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get this adhered down. Look at that gorgeous blue. It's so sad to cover that up. That's the bad side about double-sided paper, is you always have to pick one side to cover. So this got all that gorgeous bronze foiling in there. And I'm just going to kind of mimic some of the things that I did with the tag. So I'm going to cut a piece of this cardstock, and I'm going to just bring that. Actually, I think I'm going to go straight down, so I might have enough to cut. Let's see, to use this piece. Oh yeah, there we go. So I am just going to cut that chunk out. So I want that to be at 5 1/4. And then, so I'm cutting off the side here, but I just don't want to have to move everything. So you guys have seen me cut paper before. I know it's thrilling, but I think you've seen it. To this torn here. It's hard to see where that was meeting on my trimmer, so I'm just going to come in here with my scissors, and we're going to pull this piece out here. There we go. And we're going to do some more distressing. And do I want to rip the other side? What do you guys think? Rip the other side and put it down the middle, or put over to the edge? Let's go for more ripping. Let's rip it up. And tear some of this excess white off in some of these places. I don't want quite that much. We're going to come in again with keep using, I think, the vintage photo, and just go ahead and distress that down. I've got some gold embossing powder because I don't have any bronze, but I think that the gold is going to work just fine with this. And so I'm going to actually not even use any kind of a stamp, but instead just kind of do some splotches in there. Now, I did not use my powder tool because I don't care if I get little pieces stuck here and there. So I just want to add some more of that metallic on there. And I've already got some in here. I like to use coffee filters when I'm doing my embossing powders because it's just really easy to pour those right back in. And I haven't emptied it because I went ahead and doing this at the same time as I made that stamp. I'm going to flick this off. And it's gonna get a little loud here. Cover everything up. Do not want to get that embossing powder blown all over the place. Let's see, I don't know that I like this strict line right there. So hey, we're just gonna come and flick a little bit off in those areas that are a bit heavier or too straight of a line. And if you haven't done this wet embossing before, it's so gratifying. Let this heat up for a moment, and then I'm going to bring it to my paper, and the heat is just going to melt those little particles, and you're going to get all of a sudden this gorgeous shine. So there we go. You know when it's done, when you get the shine on there, so it turns from that dull to that beautiful metallic, or if you're using other colors, you'll see it just bubble up, and you'll see it change consistency, and that's how you'll know it's done. Some more of this in here, and then we're almost done. I'm going to make this card fairly simple. Let the paper do the work for us. I'm just bringing this in to heat from the back side just to help that paper flatten out. It will flatten out as it cools too. Looks like I've got another spot there that still has some powder. And I missed. And some of that, it looks like, is actually sticking to my other inks, which that's fine. If your ink hasn't dried, that embossing powder will stick to some of your regular inks as well. All right, I'm loving it. I'm going to put this kind of down. I'm not going to go right down the middle. Go off to the side a little bit. Let's let that cool off. All right. Let's do adventure awaits, or should I do, I really like the sentiment. Life's a beautiful journey. I'm going to go ahead and use that same sentiment on here, and we're just going to do a little bit more embossing. But before I do that, I'm going to bring in and do some 4th generation stamping, 4th and 5th on here, because I don't want it very dark. I just want to have a little bit of a relief on the back of that. Come on in here with the, let's see, I have this the right way. Yep. Life's a beautiful journey sentiment. Add some more embossing powder. These things out of the way. And this copper is just so gorgeous. I do think I'm going to have to pick me up some copper embossing powder to go with all these beautiful copper accents. All right, going to try and get a little bit of that off there so we can see our sentiment well. And we're going to get some more of those, some more of those gold accents on there as well. Since this heat tool was already warm, it's going to emboss a lot quicker for me on this. So let's come back over here while that's cooling off. And it really doesn't take that long. I guess I just like to let it cool for a moment before I try and work with them. I'm going to put this down the side there, except I got it upside down. All right, we'll flip her over. There we go. This one does have direction. This other one has script on the back, but it's so light that you really, at least I can't really read it that much. So it doesn't bother me which direction it goes, quite frankly, on my card or my tag. And let's just cut this sentiment down. And what do you think? Do we need some more copper? Or are we good on this one? I think I'm going to call this one good. I'm not going to add more copper, but I'm going to come in with some more distressing on the edges. And then I'm going to add some dimension behind there with some foam tape and do that instead, popping up my sentiment. Instead of adding more of that copper, I think we've got a lot of gold, or copper paper, gold embossing powder. So there we go. And we'll get the foam tape. Put a couple pieces across here. And then I'm ready to get this sent off. Once I write inside the card, I'm ready to get this sent off to my swap partner. And I think I'm going to put that down in the corner. Let me know what you guys think. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. And until we talk again, grab your paper stamp and ink and do something creative.